Yo.
Hello.
We live. All right, let me get the chat window going. This always takes a minute. What's up, guys? If anyone's heard, zero viewers. Just kidding. All right, let me get the chat window going. So I'm going to pause that. Here's the chat window. So the comments will pop up here on the side. Two people.
Hey.
What's up, friends? What's up, friends?
So it's just going to come down when they say something?
Yep. Cool. What's up, guys? I'm trying to organize my window so we can see your chat comments on the side. All right.
Cool. Hello.
What's up, guys? We're going to get started in a minute. We'll just hang out and stare at you awkwardly until that happens. If you guys have questions, okay, so the past few episodes, we just said type your questions in the side. And then we got a ton of questions during Kristen's episode. So, and then I was hard to like go back and find them. So I think what would be better this time is if you wait to type your questions. I'll let you guys know, like, all right, now we're gonna do Q&A from you guys, and then type them in so we can see them right then and there, as opposed to having to like scroll back. But yeah, while we wait for everyone to just get on, because we're like a minute early, I want to give a big shout out first to Carmen, Kat, Rosanna, and Corey from the Bay, because this show actually was the collaborative brainstorming session with all of us. And Carmen specifically, like, encouraged me to do the first Q&A, and I was like, oh, I don't want to do it. And she's like, no, it'd be rad. And it was like just me. This was before we even had the name Real Talk.
Okay.
And it was just like a Facebook Live Q&A, and it was awesome. So shout out to Carmen. Thank you, Carmen, for making that happen. And Corey too, who was there. That was like the first tester, and it was super fun. Like we had a good time, and girls tuned in from like India and Asia.
That's awesome.
And then I got together with Rosanna and Kat and Carmen again, and we kind of brainstormed, and we're like, hey, like, you know, what are some ideas of how we could do it? And then we ultimately came up with Real Talk. So shout out to you guys.
We have 8 viewers.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we can get started. Okay. If you guys have any issues hearing us or anything like that, just comment on the side and let us know. We got these mics set up, and hopefully it works out good. But I'm super excited to be here in LA. I'm in LA this weekend with the homie Zorah Olivia. She's a photographer, for those of you who don't know, and I met her 2 years ago. She literally, similar to Namchi's story, except that was like
kind of the same story, back. It seems like.
Yeah, just emailed me out of the blue.
Yeah, I was. Do you want me to tell it?
Yeah, please do.
I was in college in Baltimore, and I think I had like seen a lot of videos from Mafia online, and then I was like trying to figure out what to do with my summer. Like, I know I don't want to be in Baltimore, so let's just try to get something rolling in LA. And I emailed you, and I think I sent you like a portfolio link.
Yeah, I definitely looked at your website.
Yeah. And you responded maybe a month later. Yeah. But I was in class when you responded, and you're like, hey, I want to send you to X Games. Can we hop on a phone call? And I was like, what? So before you even like really talked to me, you wanted to send me to X Games. So that was cool. And then we ended up talking on the phone for like 45 minutes about the skate industry and like how I grew up in skating, and we had similar viewpoints, and we just had really good conversation. And you wanted me to come out to Seattle to meet all the girls first, so I could like start building relationships with them.
Yeah, and just come like jump right into the scene.
Yeah, you picked me up at the airport, and I didn't know anybody, and you were just like, okay. And then you're like, yeah, we're staying at this Airbnb, and it was like Mimi Noop, Alexis Sablon, Vanessa Torres, Mariah Duran, Jen Soto, like everyone in the same house. And I was like, okay, this is my life now.
Like, that's the true test. I did literally the same thing happened with Namchi. Shout out to Namchi, because you proved that model of me just like throwing you in the van worked. And so it was cool though. Like, I mean, I figured I could tell based off your photos and just like your hustle and like your professionalism that like you'd probably do just fine. But honestly, it's like the best way is to just dive right in, because I mean, you could like spend years like inching your way in, or it could just be like, all right, do or die.
It
like,
was just like push head first, just go.
yeah. Like I literally
it.
like drove to the airport, picked you up, and then we were like at Wheels of Fortune.
Yeah,
like, welcome
yeah.
party.
You're like, okay, you're gonna cover this event now. I'm like, all right, sick. No, anybody. And
That's
then-
kind of the test too, though, because
Yeah.
like the thing is, live photography, it's like you have to be able to like handle that pressure. And if you can do that just right off the bat, then you'll be
Yeah,
fine.
everybody was awesome. But yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right, so that's like how me and Zorah met, and we are in LA right now. We were both just at Exposure this weekend, and that was a blast. Shout out to Amelia and the party at Transworld, doing the Skate Witches premiere last night was super fun.
Oh yeah.
I woke up this morning and like my throat was in pain from all the karaoke. So
We're all just exhausted and sore and sunburned and
yes.
And my face hurt from smiling like all weekend. It was great.
Yeah, it was so fun.
Yeah.
But yeah,
My Brits are in town.
everyone's here.
My Australians are in town.
Yeah.
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 It's great.
The Japanese girls are in
Yeah,
town.
Aori was there.
Yep.
She heard her knee
Kisa-
though.
yeah,
Kisa
she
was
didn't
there?
skate
Did
yesterday.
Kisa compete?
No, they were both
Oh,
just
okay.
chilling.
Yeah.
But all right, so we
Yeah,
got some
first question.
icebreakers
Okay.
to get started.
All
And
right.
shout out to Alex White for helping me with
I'm scared.
icebreakers.
I'm scared for her questions.
All right, so the icebreakers are more lightning round, just like quick,
Okay.
get warmed up.
All right.
Alex asked, "What is a Zorah?"
What is a Zorah?
In other words, like where does your name come from? Like, what does it
It
mean?
was my great grandmother's name, and she was German.
Okay.
That's
It's a German name.
yeah.
Okay. It doesn't
It's
mean
also
anything?
Hebrew, so there's a lot of different meanings. I don't really know what a Zorah is. I am a lot of
You're a
things.
Zorah.
I am, yeah.
And your last name, your real last name is.
I'm not telling.
All right. You guys will never know.
Nope.
Just
It's
hashtag
Olivia now.
Zorah Olivia.
No, Olivia's my middle name, but
Okay, cool. Is Baltimore really like The Wire?
it absolutely is like The Wire. 100% like The Wire. A lot of the things on that show actually happened.
Okay.
And then obviously they made it a little bit more theatrical.
Okay.
But Baltimore is terrifying. So, but
Cool.
people
You made it
from
out.
but people from Baltimore, we have this kind of like attitude about us. So we're just like, don't mess with us kind of
So you
thing.
got the
So at
hard-
least I have street smarts, you know.
Okay.
Like LA can't be that scary if I like grew up
Grew up in
in Baltimore City. So
Okay. And Alex wants to know, were you ever on The Wire?
I was not on The Wire, but a couple of my family friends were on The Wire and or
Nice.
helped produce The Wire.
Okay.
So, but they were always like filming in this graveyard by my old house.
Oh God.
So
Scary.
I was on House of Cards though. They film in Baltimore.
Do you ever go back? Like, have you been back?
I've
since-
been back once, but nah.
Do you miss it?
I miss the people. I don't really miss Baltimore
Not the city.
itself, but I miss a lot of people there.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Shout out to
Um,
Charlotte Teagan and Audrey Gatewood.
That's the Baltimore homies.
Yeah, yeah.
Alright, cool. Maybe they'll tune in. What is your least favorite Starburst flavor?
Ooh, the yellow one.
Yeah, the yellow
Yellow
one.
one's disgusting.
It's not disgusting. It's just
The
not
pink one is the
good.
best though.
And red.
Red is
and
okay.
orange is
Pink is
alright.
my go-to, but red is like, okay, I'll eat the red. You know,
Okay.
and orange if it's like there's nothing else.
Yeah.
You know,
But orange before yellow.
definitely.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
yellow's
agree.
gross.
I agree with that. Alex, I will ask
That was a
you
great
when you
question.
come on the show. Best and worst thing about LA.
Best thing is that everybody is hustling and doing things, and you never know who you're gonna meet. So you could like go to a bar, you could be at a coffee shop, you could be helping somebody at work, and they could be, you know, like they could know your favorite actor, photographer, whatever. They own a gallery or they're like doing something. So
Mhm.
it's all pretty like collaborative. So people are always willing to talk with you, and like especially if you're doing something interesting.
So if you're cool, they
yeah.
want to talk to you.
No, it's,
You mean like creative types, like people? who
yeah,
are
like
here to,
obviously
like pursue creative.
people who kind of click.
Yeah.
It's very superficial, but also like there are very genuine people here. So it's just about
Nice.
weeding through that. Worst thing is obviously the traffic. There's no parking. You have to
Yeah.
pay like $20 to park anywhere. So that, and no one really wants to go anywhere. So it's like, hey, do you want to come over? It's like, well, I live in Culver City. I don't really want to drive, you
Yeah.
know? So it's, I don't live in Culver, but
Yeah.
yeah, no one
Yeah.
wants to drive
Yeah.
anywhere. And public transportation sucks.
I feel
So.
like that's becoming more common in other cities too.
Yeah.
Like in the Bay, people, if you live in SF, like people are like, I don't want to go to Oakland. I'm like, it's like 25 minutes away.
It's not even that
Like, it
bad.
was so far.
Yeah.
But all right, cool. All right, are you warmed up?
Yeah.
You feel solid?
I feel
we
good.
broke the ice?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Awesome.
We have 16 viewers, so that's cool.
What's up, friends?
No comments on the side yet.
Yeah, we'll get to the. So yeah, if you guys just joined, we'll have we'll stop and like we want to do Q&A just for you guys, because last time we just got all these comments and I was like we had to scroll back. But yeah, so I'll start off with some of my questions for you.
Okay.
So I want to know, like, let's just go way back.
Okay.
What was it like, growing up? Like, what kind of kid were you? How'd you find skateboarding? Like, tell me about your childhood. And actually, Alex also wanted to know about that as well. So.
Okay. I was a really shy kid. Like, I feel like I didn't have many friends in school. Like, I was bullied a lot. So I usually had like one or two really close friends, and they were usually boys. My oldest best friend, Jack, he and I met when we were like 2. So I was with him a lot. And I found skating through watching Rocket Power, actually. So it's similar to Nora's story.
Yeah.
But I was actually inspired by like Reggie Rocket and stuff. So I started through that. And I think I went to Toys R Us and I picked up like a Rocket Power board.
Nice.
And then after that, there was a skate shop called Charm City in Baltimore that we walked past one day. And like I told my mom, I was like, I really want like a real board. And I remember she came back and like bought one for me, and she like set it up herself, I guess, like what she liked. And I remember it had red grip tape and like red and white on the graphic itself, and then just like standard trucks. Nice. I think like white wheels, but that was like the start of everything.
Well, just the fact that your mom set up your board is like,
yeah, she told me she was gonna do it, and then she just came back with a setup. Nice. And then it just started from there. But yeah, I was actually bullied as a kid for skateboarding. I would like bring it to recess, and I would be like in the corner by myself trying to skate, and the boys would be like, oh, kickflip, ollie, and all this stuff. And then I remember like moving out of Baltimore to South Carolina, and then they all started skating. So all the boys that picked on me started skating when I left. But I was always like the only like girl skater.
Did they just like say you were weird, or because they weren't skating, they just bullied you and like said you were a weirdo or something?
Yeah, well,
it wasn't like, oh, you suck. It was just like, that's weird.
Yeah, it's weird because I was the only one doing it, kind of thing. And then like at the skate park, my mom would drop me off every day after school and like kind of leave me there for like 2 hours. And then like boys would be like, oh, are you a boy or a girl? And I'm like, or just like watch me intensely like while I was trying to practice. So I feel like there were always kind of like eyes on me because I was the only one.
Yeah. So just being judged.
Yeah.
Fishbowl.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Well, not cool, but I mean, I'm sure it's funny because a lot of like all of us, right? Like there's a similar story, and like you had a challenge, and like actually skateboarding helped you like overcome. Well, it could have been the reason, but also helped you overcome. Like you just built up confidence, and like you learned how, okay, if someone calls you a name, cool, whatever, just keep skating or whatever. So did you keep skating, or were you like?
Yeah, I never stopped skating. And then the first year that I found skateboarding, I remember there was an older girl named Casey that had a cousin that had a mini ramp, and she was kind of like my mentor. I think she was probably like 25 at the time or something. So I would go on the weekends and skate her mini ramp with her, and she would teach me how to pump and like all those things. And there was a Woodward sticker on her ramp. And I remember asking like, what's Woodward? And she told me it was a skateboard camp in Woodward, Pennsylvania. Yeah. And so I looked it up, and like, obviously it's super expensive. It's like $1,200 a week or something. So my mom was like, okay, well, we'll try. And then I think I ended up getting scholarships to go. Nice. But I went as a camper, like sleepaway camp by myself when I was 10.
Wow.
And then from there, just like every summer I went back for like 10 years and then started working there. But that's like other things we can dive into later too. But
were there any other girls?
Oh, there were always like, there were always like a full cabin full of girls, usually older.
They all skated, or they were like,
well, it was like a mix. It was like the action sports girls were together usually. So it was like BMX and rollerblading at the time and skating.
Nice.
Yeah. So then I would like make friends every summer, and we would go back like the same week, or try to plan it to go back the same week, because there's 12 weeks in the summer.
Yeah.
So we would try to plan when we were going to come back.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. So you're like a Woodward kid.
I actually ran into 2 girls that I ended up going to Woodward with when we were 14. And we hadn't seen each other since then, and both were at Exposure over the weekend.
Like just this weekend?
Yeah, they were competing at Exposure.
No way.
Yeah.
Did you say hi?
Of course. Nice. Yeah, they told me they were going to be there, so I like saw them, and it was just like a big reunion. And
dude, it's such a
we
small
took a
world.
photo together and everything, so it was cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, then tell me about like, how'd you get into photography? Was that like since childhood or?
Both my parents are photographers. My mom is a painter more now, but she went to school for photography. Um, so it was kind of just like around, I never really had to think about it. It was just like somebody was either always taking a photo of me or I was, like on shoots and like just around it all the time. But definitely just like grew up in a very like artist household.
That's awesome.
So it was just didn't even think about it kind of thing.
Cool. Yeah. And then recently, so you put out or you were interviewed by what was the name of the magazine that did the video? Like your little bio, like the bio video?
The Click On Productions?
Yes. Yeah. So that was like, I just love that piece. I remember you sent it to me and I was like, whoa, like I didn't even know this, but you talked about your dad. Like, so for those of you guys who haven't seen that video, just share a little bit about that because it's super inspiring.
I was working at Sammy's Camera, which is a camera store here in LA, when I first moved, and this guy came in to like buy a pair of like workers gloves to go to a trip to New York. And usually I, was kind of grumpy to work there and I didn't want to talk to anybody, but for some reason I was like, okay, I should probably talk to this person. So he started telling me he was a documentary like filmmaker and everything, and he does like sports work. And I told him about, how I shoot skateboarding. And he was like, oh, I'm actually really interested in that. Like I want to, do a piece about some female pros or whatever. Do you think you could like tell me their story? I'm like, well, I can't speak for them, but I can speak for myself. So then we just scheduled a meeting and I just talked to him, and he, got back to me a couple weeks later and told me that the production company was really interested in my story. And then we just started filming for like 3 months.
Yeah.
So, and then that came together, and that was like the first time I publicly spoke about like, the loss of my father who died 3 years ago, but he was a photographer as well. So it's just kind of like my story coming, to LA from Baltimore and kind of navigating grief and then just being able to speak publicly about it, because I always kind of felt like it was a burden to talk about, you know, like people don't really want to talk about like uncomfortable things. So I kind of just like kept it to myself. So that's why I was surprised that you had no idea. Like a lot of people didn't know until that came out. But the response was really positive, and I got like a lot of messages either from people who have been through the same thing or, just needed somebody to talk to. So it's been really positive.
That's awesome. I mean, that must have taken a lot of courage even to like talk about that on camera, because it never came up, but I also get that like you're like here and like you're excited. It's not like, oh, by the way, like this is what happened to me recently. But it was really powerful because just the fact that like knowing that that's what happened, your dad was a photographer and he passed away, and you talked about how you like couldn't even look at your camera or like touch your camera, and then somehow like finding the courage and like the willpower to get through that and then to like pursue photography as a career. Like that's pretty, I mean, what's the experience like? Do you now kind of, is it like you want to honor him or he inspires you, or is it just a separate thing?
I kind of feel like the video was a way to like let go of a lot of things. So it's not really like something that's in the forefront of my mind all the time, but like after a day of shooting, I'm like, that's really satisfying, or like, but it's more of just, I'm doing it for myself, but also, it's like I'm shooting either with his camera or whatever. So it's, like a way to feel like he's, with me, but also like, okay, I'm, moving forward,
cool.
Doing things for myself. I'm not doing it for anyone else.
Gotcha.
I'm doing it for myself.
That's awesome.
So
which is so like it sounded like just getting that story out was like a way to just get closure, like completion around that, and then you're able to like really be like, okay, now like I'm in the space to create again, because it wasn't like as painful every time. Is that kind of
for accurate? Sure.
Cool. That's awesome.
Rad.
Cool. Let's see what else. So then how did you like decide, did you know at some point that did you sorry guys did you know at some point that you like wanted to like, this is it, I'm gonna be a photographer? Or is it like, was there a turning point, or was it always just like,
honestly,
you knew it from the beginning?
Like I started shooting the boys in Baltimore because there's a pretty heavy skate scene there. And never really thinking that I was going to do anything with it because it wasn't accessible. And it's like, I was the only girl trying to hang out with a bunch of boys, and then you changed everything, honestly. Like after I came out to Wheels of Fortune and the experience that I had there and just like the response that I got after and how things just kind of started rolling after, then I was like, okay, this is something that I can actually do. So when I came to LA for the first time and started shooting for you, just like, kind of freelance assignments, then I was like, okay, I'm going to make the decision and just move.
Yeah.
So it was really a quick decision. Like at, the middle of the summer, I'm like, okay, I'm going to pack up my car. I'm going to go.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if it's not now, then when am I going to do it?
Yeah.
Or someone else is going to come in and try to do it. So I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to go.
Yeah.
So
I super admired that. I was like, she's just down. And that's like a quality that I think like I recognized immediately. And I would say similar to like Namchi is just like, you guys were just down. It was like, hey, do you want to do this? And it wasn't like, there wasn't like a hesitation. And I knew, like, of course, I figured it was like nerve wracking and scary, but like, you were just like, sweet, like, we'll go for it. I remember, didn't Jen Soto drive with you out here?
Jen, I feel like was like really, besides you, the first person to like kind of reach out to me because I was really shy and didn't really know how to like start conversations with anybody because I was like fangirling because like I grew up watching everybody like Vanessa and Alexis and Lacey and everything. So to be around them and then to have to shoot them, I was just kind of like, oh shit.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, Jen, I remember I used to wear like a really big brimmed hat and we were in the van heading to the park and Jen was like, that's a really big hat. And then we just started talking after that and
great opening line, Jen.
That's a really big hat. Like yeah, it is. And,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah. I mean, I think at the end of the day, like, dude, photographers and filmers, like, I mean, I don't know, I can't really speak for guys, but like, at least in our community, like, at the end of the day, like, we are the biggest fans. Like, otherwise, we wouldn't be interested in capturing these moments. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and then it's like over time, we develop friendships and then become our friends. And that's how I would imagine, like, for you and me and like Namchi and whoever else, Norma, everyone, like, you just shoot your friends and like, it's fun and everyone appreciates it. And you capture these moments and you're telling stories and it starts out with just your friends. And then in our community over time, it's like, it's such a small community. I mean, it's growing now, but like we are all just friends. And that's why it's like so special. You can just like hire some dude from outside and be like, cool, capture these like hilarious moments. It's like,
I mean, and I was telling you earlier, like after exposure yesterday, this guy came up to me and he was like, I was watching you shoot the girls and you just always had a smile on your face. And it was really refreshing to see because all the men here are grumpy or they're the pushing girls that are trying to like do their runs. It's like, oh, watch out. I'm trying to get the shot of this other skater, but she's about to drop into the bowl and you're not even paying attention. So he was like, it's just really nice to see you having fun. And the girls, I can just tell that the girls really just want to be around you.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all you can do is have fun, like I'm just hanging out with all my best friends. So it's yeah.
And that was like actually one of thanks Kelsey for submitting your questions. One of Kelsey's questions was like, what is the difference when there's a female photographer behind the lens versus a male when it comes to skateboarding? And I think it applies even beyond skateboarding. Like, what would you say for you?
Well, and I've heard from different moms that like male photographers kind of, they don't really know how to, especially with the younger girls, like interact. Like they kind of have like an image of what they think it should look like very like pretty girl, or like let's get a makeup artist in here and like do this. So they don't really know how to relate. So being a woman, being around other girls, it's like they just feel comfortable with me. So it's we're all there to support each other. So it's like they show me that other side that they would either try to like clam up, or just you would just see like this exterior, like, okay, I'm smiling, for like a guy. Unless I mean, I know there are male photographers out there that
there's a lot of
do
awesome
have
dudes,
relationships with a lot of the pros and everything. It's just about spending time with people and getting to know them. But I think it's definitely easier to open up to another woman, especially if it's like, okay, I just met you, but I feel comfortable.
Sure.
Like I feel like I create like a safe space for people.
Yeah, definitely.
So, that's a good question, Kelsey. Thank you.
Yes.
She has more questions, right?
Yes. Okay. Kelsey's having more questions, and you guys, we're gonna open it up in a minute or later in the show, like to type your questions in on the side. But we did get some pre-submitted questions, so we get to prioritize those ones. But yeah, I think that's a really good point when it comes to just the perspective. It's not necessarily a male female thing. It's just like what's authentic to you.
Mhm.
So like when it's a female shooting a female, or just your friends shooting your friends, like me, you know, shooting my friends, you just have more of an understanding of who your subjects are.
Yeah.
And so you get what would be funny or cool to capture, you know, for the people that you know. And I think that's kind of like one of, you know, the foundations of just photography as a storyteller, filming even, is um building that relationship with, you know, your subject. And I've seen both sides, where I have like some photographer friends or filmer friends that are super outgoing and just like people, you know, like people persons, peoples, and you just get hyped to be around them. And then you see the opposite where and this is like how I was when I was younger. I was just like more shy, and I would be
Mhm.
like kind of the fly on the wall
Yeah.
and just like snap the photos. And like that's really cool too, because you're not really interrupting what's happening. You're
That's
just
me
letting
on
it
the
happen.
inside a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Like, but I feel, and even because I've photographed, you know, like nightclubs and stuff like that too. So that's like the definition of anxiety for me. It's like, okay, go into a dark room with a bunch of people and, you know, like take pictures.
Yeah.
Like inside, I'm in the corner being like, oh shit.
Yeah.
But, you know, having the camera, it's just kind of like a safety blanket. So it's just like
Yeah.
a conversation starter. It's like, hey, I think you're interesting. Like, can I take a picture or something like that? And then it just kind of rolls. But there's also like practices that you can do. Like in London, I didn't know anybody before I went. And a lot of people are really uncomfortable in front of the camera at first. It's like, you know, they're like, okay, what do I do? And like, so I tried doing this thing where I'm like, okay, try to find your reflection in the camera. Or like I would have my friend Georgie Winter it's like crack jokes. Be like, okay, tell some
Hype man.
jokes. Yeah. So it's like, you know, it's just to get, like, I always look for that moment when it breaks.
Yeah.
Because I don't want it just like a posed smile. I want like a genuine laugh, or like,
totally,
you know, like a genuine, like, stop taking my picture kind of thing. So, but yeah, I always try to like make them laugh.
Yeah. Little trick tips.
Yeah.
You're just like letting people be themselves and forgetting that there's like a camera there. I think that's like the secret.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. Because like because a lot of people at exposure this weekend tried to take my picture, and I immediately was like, no, I don't know what to do. Tell me what to do. So yeah.
Nice. Okay, I'm actually gonna shoot you some questions from some of our friends out there that pre-submitted as well. Is Evelyn and also San Choi wanted to know, like, what's your current camera setup? Like, what are you shooting on?
Current camera setup. I have a Canon 5D Mark III with a 50mm 1.8, a Canon fisheye, and a 24-70. So I use the digital for all the action shots that I do. And I use strobes with that too, because you have to like freeze action with action shots. So yeah, so I have,
like every shoot you go on, you just pretty much carry those 3 lenses.
Yeah, I have, because everything fits in my camera bag.
Yeah.
So I just never want to be in a situation where I'm like, oh, I really should have brought that lens with me.
Yeah.
So that's usually the setup that I use like the most, just because I'm either street skating on the weekends or, you know, something like that. So I have the action setup with me. Yeah, and then I have Hasselblad, so that's film, so it's 120 medium format film that I use for portraits, because I'd rather shoot portraits with film than with digital.
Okay.
It just means more.
Okay. Yeah, tell me about that. I'm curious.
Yeah, so I have my dad's Hasselblad set up, so he used that the most too. He did all of the like the processing himself in his dark room. So I like grew up in the dark room with him, learning how to do that. So I do all of my own black and white processing here in my bathroom.
Cool.
I don't have like a, you know, enlarger, so I can't do prints, but I process it and then dry it and then scan it.
Okay.
So yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So then if you're like out shooting, do you like find natural moments to like take someone's portrait, or do you go in there intentionally and be like, I'm gonna shoot portraits today, or like, or does it just, you like kind of like feel it in the moment?
I think it depends on like who I'm gonna be shooting. If it's somebody that's kind of like harder to like get time with, I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna bring my Hasselblad too.
Yeah.
You know, and then usually after the session, I'll like pull them aside and shoot some portraits.
Got it.
But usually when I'm shooting with Dave Mull on the weekends, like he somehow always like color coordinates, but it's always spontaneous. So his shirt either matches some kind of element at the spot or like some kind of wall. So I'll usually shoot a portrait of him that goes along with the action shot for the day.
Nice.
But yeah,
Sweet.
It's usually spontaneous, but I'm pretty good at like, you know, having the equipment that I need with me.
Yeah. Cool. And one of the other questions was, what's your like dream setup? Is that your dream setup, or if you like had unlimited amounts of money, like
I
what
would
would you buy?
love to have a digital, like medium format camera, like a digital Hasselblad would be amazing. But that's like $40,000 camera or
Yeah,
something.
I was gonna say, are they expensive?
Yeah, or just like I guess like powerful strobes.
Mhm.
Like I have like a good strobe now. It's pretty cheap. But just like, you know,
Yeah.
some nicer studio setups, or have like an actual studio and have everything that I can just store there and have backdrops and everything and just have
Yeah.
a setup, so I'm not just keeping it in my closet kind of thing.
Yeah, totally.
But
So
that's
with
the dream.
Nice. So with the flashes, when you go out and shoot, do you use like pocket wizards, or what are you using to, is it remote, or do you have a cord, or?
There's a remote. So there's I got like a new setup. I wrote it down. It's like a Wistro. It's just like a cheap little setup.
There's like a piece that plugs
yeah,
in the
it
camera.
sits on the hot shoe of the camera that talks to the flash.
Got
so
it.
you could kind of have it within like a distance.
Gotcha.
And it'll pop.
Okay.
But before that, I used just like a small Canon speed light. That you can get a transmitter for that too.
Yeah.
So it is like technically it does what a pocket wizard does.
Yeah.
It just speaks to the flash.
Yeah.
Remotely. So.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like I've tried to do that, but the speed light's like not really bright enough to get like.
You have to like put it on manual, because usually speed lights are TTL.
Yeah.
So put it on manual, and then I like have to bump it up to a full power.
Yeah.
Like,
because especially for skateboarding, it's like so fast. So you have to like basically get a ton of light in that exact moment, that like the right moment of the trick. And so
they work best like indoors, like at Street League. This was before I ordered my new strobe.
Mm-hmm.
I used one Canon speed light at Street League, but there was enough lights set up there already, and it was indoors, so the flash could bounce off of different things. But in the streets, having a speed light isn't enough usually. Unless it's like a cloudy day. But in LA, it's always sunny, so you have to like fight against the sun. So you have to have a strong strobe just to freeze everything.
Gotcha. So, cool. So how many cameras do you own then, aside from the two that you have?
Well, I have
just like antique decorations around.
Well, I have my mom's camera from college. That's
nice.
Hanging up in the kitchen. But
does it still work?
Yeah, it still works. Nice. That's 35 millimeters, so it's like smaller negatives. So I'm just used to shooting 120, so that's my preferred choice. But I don't know, maybe like 10 cameras, but I really only use like 3.
Got it.
Like I have a Fuji Instax. So it's
yeah,
like
that's what you were
Polaroid.
First shooting. No, not the Polaroid.
No,
but shooting on a Fuji digital.
A mirrorless camera.
That's right.
Fuji mirrorless. Yep. Yeah, that was like before. I was scared to use flash, like really intimidated by that. But
it's just like more of a complex setup. It's not as like you can't really like blend. It's like.
Well, that camera couldn't keep up
with it. With skateboarding.
It was just like a little point and shoot camera.
But you took some dope photos on it.
Thanks.
But you're able to like, with that camera, I feel like it's more on the down low. Like you could be more of a fly on the wall or like travel with it.
Yeah, because it just looks, it was like this big. So
it was like very unintimidating. Yeah.
If you pull out a Canon, people are like, oh, what are you shooting for?
Yeah.
So it looks,
Yeah. Or like, they'll be like, do you have a permit? If you're like somewhere, it's like, it looks professional. So
yeah.
Do you still shoot with that camera?
No, I sold everything I had to get, the Canon 5D Mark III, which didn't even make a dent in the cost. But I was like, I just got a new job as a marketing coordinator, so I like had to drop money.
Yeah.
And skating was really picking up, and like more skaters wanted to shoot with me out in the streets. So I was like, I have to get something that's gonna keep up.
Yeah.
And the Canon, it's just like, you can rapid fire, but I don't really use that. I just do one shot.
Yeah.
So
I remember because when you were shooting with the Fuji camera, you're like,
I don't do sequences.
I was like, what? Like that's crazy. That was even more impressive. That means that you like really just had to know your equipment and the skater and the trick, and like the timing had to be exact.
Yeah.
Because I remember the first photos you took from like X Games Austin. You were shooting with that mirrorless. Right?
Yeah, I didn't have flash. I just had I was using like a wide angle, and then mostly fisheye for action shots, because you can open it really wide, because I think it was like a 1.8, so it lets a lot of light in.
Yeah.
So there's like more room to kind of like fix mistakes, either like go in and post edit things, or pull up the brightness or whatever. So
cool.
Yeah.
Would you say that like do you prefer shooting action or lifestyle or portraits or just everything?
I prefer shooting action. I feel like that's like when I feel most alive, is when like somebody's jumping down a stair set or hitting a gap, and I'm literally like, the skater is here and I'm right here, and they're like, all right, I'm not gonna hit you, and I'm like, okay, I trust you. Like I trust their ability, and I trust myself to get out of the way.
Yeah.
I've had a couple close calls with my gear, but nothing's ever been broken.
Yeah.
Knock on wood. You know.
Nice, yeah.
But yeah, like I feel like I really want to always be up in there. Like I hate, like it's nice shooting, you know, like long lens.
Yeah.
But I really want to be like right here.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah.
Gotcha.
You'll usually see me at like the park or in a street spot just laying on the ground. Like I don't care. I'll get dirty. I'll just like lay.
You gotta get the shot.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So let's look at some of our questions here as I promised you guys. Hold on 1 sec. Oh, there's a lot. All right.
Just ignore that person.
What's up, Nightbot? We did say at the beginning of the show that we were gonna portion out like our conversation and then questions.
Whatever.
So we are getting to you guys.
Who cares? Okay. Did anybody actually say a question in the comments yet?
Does anyone have a legitimate question?
No.
Thanks for explaining, Allie. All right, let's see. Well,
Kelsey,
Megan asked what made you first pick up a camera, but I think we talked about that, right?
Yeah, that was just, you know, being around it a lot. And then I just started shooting with it. And then, you know, my parents bought me cameras. Yeah. It kind of started with like a point and shoot. And then they were like, okay, well, you know, we'll get you this kind of setup if you're really serious about it. And then like a year later, I'd be like, no, I'm really serious about it. Can I have a new camera?
Yeah.
So it just kind of like went from there.
Nice. Did they ever let you just borrow theirs?
No.
Like, nope.
No.
Okay, Megan has a good question. What's your favorite picture you've ever taken? Oof, that's a tough one.
Man.
I don't know if I'd be able to answer that.
I have like a couple off the top of my head. Probably, and I said this out loud when I shot this role, but the day that I went and met up with Andrew Reynolds and Stella and Cater at the skate park, I shot one roll of black and white, just some portraits outside against like a metal wall. Mm-hmm. And when I got home that night, I was like, this is the most important role I'll ever develop. And I don't know why I thought that. I just knew it. And then I processed it. The negatives came out perfect. And then
that's pretty scary. What if you'd messed that up like right there in your bathroom?
Yeah.
But that's awesome.
But yeah, some of the my favorite shots are like Andrew and Stella together. Just like father-daughter dynamic is really nice.
Yeah.
A lot of photos of Dave that I've shot of him like grinding off the side of a roof, you know, or like jumping off like a building into me pretty much, you know. A lot of photos I shot in London are my favorite. Okay,
so they're all your favorites.
A lot. There's a lot.
Sorry, Megan.
It's
She's
a good
answering.
question.
They're all your favorites. I think Lexi asked, are you going to WAF this year?
If I can. I don't know. I just don't know that far in advance. If I have like, you know, a serious job, then we'll see. But for now, yes. What does Kelsey say? What is your favorite way to display your work?
Wait. Whoa, hold on. Let me. Shit. It's hard to read your comments. Let me adjust.
I'm going to answer it though.
Why is this so? Hold on. We're looking at your question, guys. There you go.
Okay. Where's that?
What is your favorite? Kelsey asked, what is your favorite way to display your work? You've had both galleries and you've been published in mags like Thrasher too.
I like both, honestly, because if it's published, it's like gives you something that you can like look back on, or you can frame it, and then you're like, yeah. And then it's also like a resume builder. But I really love having work displayed because it's like a good excuse to have all your friends come, and you know, people can see your work and you can mingle, and it's like a celebration almost.
Yeah.
So
it's like more of a community like experience, like watching a film premiere or like having like an opening night at a exhibit, like a gallery. It's like everyone comes together.
And if it's like skate related, it's gonna be like last night where it's gonna be rowdy anyways, because everyone's just
all the homies
excited. Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah. And then
all right.
Why are people?
What
I'm not
else?
okay.
Favorite picture? Do your parents still like looking at your pictures?
Oh, they look at all of my photos.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then Eric. Hey, Eric.
Eric, what's up? Okay.
All
All
right.
right. Well, we're gonna do another question portion at the end.
Yeah.
So just save up your questions. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Just save up your questions.
Some craziness going on in here.
Kelsey, what music are you listening to while editing right now?
Listening to Warpaint a lot. Listening to Big Thief. Listening to a playlist that Kelsey made me.
Nice.
So that's cool. And yeah, a lot of like usually if I'm kind of in like a hectic mood and I need to just kind of like shut my brain off, I'll just play like Miles Davis or John Coltrane radio and just let jazz just kind of like numb everything out.
Nice.
So
like editing jazz?
Yeah.
Cool.
Like usually if I need like silence, I'll just listen to jazz. And
Nice.
then I'll edit for hours. But if I'm just like, feeling it, I'll just listen to some stuff with like actual lyrics. So
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. We'll do another homie friends Q&A for you guys at the end. Let's see. We got some more questions here. I got some real talk questions. Favorite skaters to shoot with?
I love shooting with Nora.
Okay.
I really love shooting with Nora. I love shooting with Dave Mull. Because he literally like very rarely will go to a spot and walk away not landing anything.
Nice.
Like if he wants to jump off like a 3-story building, he'll do it.
Yeah.
And we'll roll away from it.
Yeah.
So that's really cool to shoot with him.
You shoot with Jen a bunch, right?
Yeah, Jen.
I mean, she's your neighbor.
Yeah, Jen lives
wingman.
downstairs, so we just like
from Instagram. I just feel like you guys are always
together. She
is
my wingman. Yeah, we're each other's wingman.
Except she's not here right now, Jen. What the hell?
I don't know. She's probably
sleeping. It's okay.
She's probably not watching.
She's tired. Okay. She skated a bunch in the contest. Got second.
Yeah, she did. She got second. But we drove cross country together. We've been doing this from the start. Like we were both growing in like exponential ways, but also in like this like it's parallel.
Yeah. I feel like it's so important like for the photographer filmer to have like I don't know, you're just like that's the perfect like to me it's like that perfect relationship where it's like best buds, but having the skater and then either the filmer or the photographer, like you both can help each other elevate what you're doing to the next level. And it's just so nice to be, I'm sure like Jen, I bet she's been like your guinea pig, not your real guinea pig, but like in some ways, right? If you have an idea, are you just like, Jen, let's go try this? And she's
like when I get like, new flashes or whatever, I'm like, Jen, let's go up on the roof and have a photo shoot.
And she's down.
Yeah.
And then you guys shoot an Instagram story where she's singing and rapping
every day.
Dancing,
every day. We're together all the time.
That's
so
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Alex wanted to know what keeps you motivated.
Because
it is a grind. I mean, honestly, like going on trips and like just traveling, it's exhausting. And also then you got to come home and like edit all these photos, or oftentimes like you got to edit on like while you're there, like in the midst of everything. That's the thing now. It's like being a photographer filmer, like there's a demand to be like
I know. I shot content. So many photos from exposure this weekend and the girls are already like, I need to post today. I'm just like, no, I have to go home and like do this first, this interview, and then I'll probably be editing tonight. So, but what keeps me motivated?
Hustling.
Honestly, just the progression of female skating right now is keeping me motivated because the skill level is getting so high and like it just seems like everyone is skating and it's changing. And it almost feels like we're a part of this revolution, this social revolution that's happening, which I think is going to be really cool to look back on and be like, yeah, we helped shape this.
Yeah.
So really just like having that in the back of my head always being like, this is not for me. This is for them.
Yeah.
Like this is like I'm doing something important. Like I really feel like I'm doing something that's like I'm showing the world what these girls are capable of.
Yeah. You just like hit the nail on the head for me too. Like, cause same thing. It's like we all experience burnout, but the thing right now is that there is so much opportunity and it's like, now we're in a time where we don't need to wait for like the gatekeepers. There's the internet. There's like, you can pick up a camera, you can learn just like you can pick up a skateboard and learn. And I think anytime you're doing something that's like bigger than yourself, like especially for a community, which this is definitely a community, it's just so much easier to like be like, all right, I have the things I'm dealing with, but I can like set that aside for now and just go like create or go do what I got to do, like
Mhm.
drive to this place or like show up at this place or do whatever, even like the day job, right?
Yeah.
Knowing that like you'll get to like move everything forward for the whole community and even beyond like skateboarding. I mean, especially right now, like what we're doing is really special and it's exciting because we're literally like changing the narrative for like young girls out there because when we were growing up, like we didn't have this.
No.
So not only that, but it's bigger than just skateboarding. It's like really
It's female empowerment, honestly, because
yeah.
especially now, like we need
Yeah,
it more than
absolutely.
ever.
Yep.
So,
And I talked to Kristen about that on the last episode. And it's just, especially when it comes to, yes, like we need more girls skating and that's really awesome. We want to empower girls to skate. But beyond that, like we also, part of that equation is like the behind the scenes and the storytellers, which is photographers, filmers, business owners, like advocates, community leaders, like even like doing like I do a good amount of talks and it's like all that stuff is so important and it's
Mhm.
really necessary to have the whole ecosystem, not just like we need more girls that skate. It's like we need more female skate like mentors and
Mhm.
instructors like to teach these little girls or like
Yeah.
to run, you know, a free skate clinic or
Yeah.
to show another girl who might be just shooting photos with her iPhone at the park to be
Mhm.
like, yo, try this setting, you know? So I
Yeah.
think that's like, it's awesome that you can see that too. And I think that's also why like we're all kind of on the same
Yeah.
page when it
I'm
comes to that.
never like my motivation, like, yeah, it would be cool to, like work for Thrasher, work for whatever, but like my motivation isn't to like, oh, I have to be the best. I have to be
Yeah.
published. I have to do this. I have to do that. I'm just like, if those things happen, that's amazing,
Yeah.
and it's like a surprise. But I'm really, at the end of the day, just doing it because skateboarding was like life changing for me as a young person.
Yeah.
So seeing all of these like young girls now and kind of like seeing how I'm influencing them, even in my own personal character, like besides photography, like it's just important to have like
Yeah.
strong women
Yeah.
leading the way.
And honestly, like because maybe there aren't just like jobs lined up, like as a result, you've just created your own path. And I think that's
Mhm.
what a lot of us have done. And as a result, like it's way more authentic and it's more sustainable. So if there were just like a million jobs, like you guys just got hired into the skate industry as a photographer, like that potentially might, you know, not allow as much like I don't know, creativity or just like freedom when it comes to your art and your photography. And so I think it's actually kind of a blessing in some ways. And it's the same with the skaters. Like they don't have, I mean, more recently, there's a lot more opportunities, but initially it wasn't just like, oh, here's all these sponsors, here's these
Mhm.
contracts. Like now you're just going to skate and like
Yeah.
it's all set. It's like,
I feel like
just had to get
skateboarding does
creative.
a good job of like creating that illusion that that's easily like obtainable, but it's not.
Yeah.
Like it's you.
Yeah.
I don't know what it takes to be
Yeah.
relevant in skateboarding. I feel like it's a lot about who you know,
Yep.
and like yes, it is skill, but it's also like how well you do in social situations or like
Yeah.
how you can handle yourself or like
Yeah.
social media presence. It's just a lot of things
It's
that
a
go
lot of
into it. It's a
things.
lot of
Yeah.
luck too. It's like you could easily have not seen my email at all.
Yeah. I do read all my emails, but sometimes I don't answer all of them.
Yeah.
But luckily
So
I did read your email.
yeah.
And I would say too, it just boils down to like who you're being, you know, like in the
Mhm.
moment, yeah, like social situations, but it's not, I'm not saying like everyone has to be like funny and outgoing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just like, are you a good person? Do you care about other people? Like, are you down to be, you know, accountable? Like if I am going to email you or going to write an email back, like those
Mhm.
are just little things where people are like, oh, it doesn't matter,
I'm not
whatever.
always good with that.
No,
Sometimes
we're
I'll
all, I
respond like a
mean,
couple days later.
we're
Like,
all, you know, guilty of, but still at the
yeah.
same time, it's like, can I like, if I invite you to an event, are you going to show up? Like,
Yeah.
cause it's important to like shoot
I'm
photos and
always
like,
there.
so there's that. And then I would say just like your general attitude, like if you're open and like positive and
Mhm.
down to
Those
like
things
try
come back
things.
to you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like we all notice that in, you know, each other. And that's also what builds this community to be stronger. If you're like a
Yeah.
hater or you're just like super competitive or you're just like cutting everyone down to get to the top, like that's when it's like, all right, like you might be successful initially, but in the end, like it's going to be kind of lonely and it's just going to be harder because it's such a collaborative like community.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. Next
cool.
question.
Uh, all right, this is a real talk question. What would you say that, you know, if you have any moments or even now or in the past where you've like doubted yourself or you've just been like insecure, like anything area of your life where you're just like, oh, I don't know. And like, how do you kind of deal with those situations?
Hmm. Um, it's really just like forcing myself to get out of like, you know, this narrative that I have in my head where I'm like, oh, you're awkward, you're gonna say something weird, like you're too quiet, like whatever. So it's really just like that's my insecurities being like, oh, am I awkward? You
Yeah.
know? But then just being like, no, you're not. You're actually a really interesting person. And like,
Or we're just all awkward, and
if
that's totally
yeah,
fine.
and it's like if you know, like they don't like me, then they don't like me.
Yeah.
Like I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So just
like stop talking to yourself.
Yeah, it's just
about
I
that.
just
Yeah,
I'm like,
just,
no, you're
turn
fine.
the voices off.
Yeah.
And just go do something.
And then
Nice.
So just being vulnerable, just allowing yourself to be vulnerable is really important. And that's something that like I'm improving on every day.
Yeah.
You know, just being like, really the results are right there. Like if you just open yourself up, it does come back.
Yeah, so, totally. And it's just like it's hard and tiring to try to be the perfect everything all the time. It's like exhausting. Like no one is that way.
No one.
And so like we all like try to kind of do that. I mean, especially through social media, it's just like, but honestly, like we could just be ourselves, and like there's times that we're feeling great and there's times where we're not, and it's totally fine. Like we're just humans, you know. So
that's definitely my like biggest thing is like, am I awkward? But hilarious. I don't
Cool. So one of my questions is so yeah, and we'll get to more questions from you guys at the end, so thanks for being patient.
We're not ignoring you. I promise.
Yeah, we're not ignoring you guys.
I'll get to everyone's questions. I'll answer whatever that's appropriate.
Yes. So Brolition, so what are some of the dudes, because we all have, so this is the thing, like it's not about like only girls and like whatever, it's like about creating collaboration with everyone in our community. And for me personally, like I've had a lot of guy friends in the industry that really like reached out to me and were like, yeah, like big brothers or whatever. Like for you, who have you been kind of like become friends with, whether skaters or other photographers?
The Mull brothers, I feel like they're almost kind of like my brothers at this point. But the Mulls and all the guys on the Warble, they're all like family to me. So that's like the first situation in California where I like was just thrown in with a bunch of guys. It's the only female photographer, you know, kind of thing. And then they just made me feel at home. And like they also have, you know, put me where I am today, you know? So just Tom Mull, Dave Mull, Steve Mull, their older brother, Charlie, like, you know.
Yeah. And we've all met.
Man Ramp.
Man Ramp. And
Man Ramp.
We all met at Element Camp, right? That's where you first met him?
Yeah, when Mafia and Skate Witches.
Skate Like a Girl.
Skate Like a Girl. Yeah, we went to Element Camp, Girls Week. So Vanessa was there and Lacey was there.
Yeah, and that's where I met Stella too.
That is where I met Stella.
I kind of known her already, but
no, I actually had no idea. Okay. I didn't know who she was, and even when I found out, I was just like, she's just a kid, you know.
Yeah.
But
shout out to Stella.
Yeah, if she's watching, hey Stella. But yeah, I think Tom was there filming, and he and I just kind of like bonded and kind of kept up with each other after that. Yeah. And you know, my friend Garrett Remy, he's the photographer at Element Camp too. So he and I bonded over like we both use Hasselblad, you know. So when I like came to LA, I like hit them up and I told them I moved here. And then they just kept inviting me out every weekend, this kind of thing. So now it's like a ritual. I go out every Sunday with Dave. He texts me at like 8:30 in the morning. He's like, "You ready? You're going to a school." It's like, you know, so it's like 9 a.m. I got my coffee. I hop a really tall fence. Like they got me to get over my fear of like jumping fences.
Nice.
Because it's like, okay, you could either stand here and be scared or jump the fence.
Do you like throw your bag over first?
No,
like trying to climb.
Dave always like hops first,
and then he grabs your bag.
He grabs my bag because I trust him with my stuff, and then he jumps down, and I'm usually like the last one to.
Oh my god, it's like the scene out of Jurassic Park where the kids like get shocked at the end.
No, I literally have to take it out of my brain now, where I'm just like, no, you can do it. You're not gonna think about falling off this fence right now, kind of thing.
That's funny.
Yeah,
that's a funny fear. I mean, it's not funny, but
it's terrifying.
But
have you climbed a tall fence? Like two people, like
skateboarding's terrifying. Tall. Dropping in is terrifying.
That's true, but also falling off a fence would suck. So,
all right, you guys heard it here first. Zora has a fear of climbing fences.
Thank you, Mull brothers, for getting me to face that fear. Because now I'm just like, oh, there's a fence. Let's go.
Yeah.
Somebody get my bag. Like somebody get my coffee.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about your awesome, exciting, proud refrigerator moment. You had your photos published in Thrasher.
Yeah.
And so those were your first published skate photos. And you had five photos. We have the issue back here.
Yeah, the August issue of Thrasher, I had 5
Have you guys
photos
seen
in
this?
them.
So yeah, tell me about how did that happen?
There are 2 backstories to that actually, which kind of ended up colliding in like a really like lovely, spontaneous way.
Yeah.
But Dave and Tom and Steve had a photo concept in mind for their premiere of New Driveway, which is a video that they did, and that was kind of like the man ramp debut kind of thing. So he wanted to shoot a photo of man ramp and everyone, or mostly everyone in the video, like holding up a piece of wood, and then Dave was going to do a kickflip on top, and then like Cobra Man, the band that did all the original music for the video, was in the front. So I knew that I was going to shoot an ad, and they knew it was going to be in Thrasher, but they didn't know when. And I had all these other photos of Dave in like an archive that I just, when I edit the photos, I send it to them, and then, yeah, oh, there it is. Yeah. Yeah, so that's the first ad. So we knew that was going to be in Thrasher, didn't know when. And then for the mountain, we did a full page spread. I had no idea about this either, but this ended up in the mag as well. So that was confirmed. But then I ended up meeting up with Stella and Andrew and Cater one day at Skate Lab, and I shot that roll of film. And after I like processed it, I was like, okay, I could either like hold on to these images and like maybe submit them one day, or I could just give it to him, because I knew that if he really was interested, he would just ask. And like a couple weeks later, he actually texted me and was like, can we use this in Thrasher? And I was like, absolutely. Yeah, that's it. So he was like, cool, I'm gonna give your phone number to the editor of Thrasher. And then 5 minutes later, Mike Burnett texted me, and yeah, so that's how 5 photos ended up in the same issue.
Was that like a goal that you had, or was it just like
that was like, I mean, I grew up on Thrasher. Like I studied the images every month, like never really being like, oh, I'm gonna take photos like this one day. It was just like, no, I really love these photos, kind of thing. Never ever thought I was going to be in Thrasher ever.
Yeah.
Like it's funny because like I think a week before I was asked, I looked on their like FAQ page and like submitting photos to Thrasher, and they're like, it literally just says like, keep trying. We get 1 million emails, but maybe you'll be lucky one day. So I'm like, man.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Also, I think like shooting like different stuff too. So I mean, like, I think just finding different ways to tell stories and like go for stuff that's not like the obvious thing too. Like portraits, for example, like not a lot of people are like, oh, I'm really going to like go out there and shoot awesome portraits. It's just like, I really want to get the dope skate shot. So like to me, that would be like somewhat of a less obvious way. If you think like, oh, I'm going to get a photo in Thrasher, it's usually,
not going to work that way. If you're like,
exactly.
I'm going to get there. It just happened. And then,
that's awesome.
My ultimate goal is to like have the cover of Thrasher one day, know, but I don't know. It's like, you can't know those things.
Yeah.
It's just, if that happens, it happens.
Well, just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. That's a good question. This one, Eric. Have you ever had to deal with cops yet? Yes. I've never gotten a ticket for anything, but there have been some very angry security guards that have like called the cops, but we left before they got there.
Got it.
So it's been pretty mellow so far. But I'm usually with really polite guys too, so it's like they don't want any trouble. So we're like, oh man, can we just have like one more try?
Yeah.
And then we'll explain what we're doing, and then we'll usually get like 1 or 2 more tries, and they're like, no, you gotta go.
Yeah. I found that works best. I mean, dude, they're just trying to do their job, and like they don't want to be treated like
some people take
either.
it too seriously though. Yeah. Some people.
So
yeah.
But I think Allie has a question. Would you ever publish a book of all your work? Ooh, that'd be sick.
I would. Yeah, I would love to. I really want to do that for like London, and Jen and I shoot this one photo of her doing like this crazy like split thing on her board, and I just want to like make a book, like a funny book, be like, oh, the places Jen will go. It's just her doing this crazy pose like everywhere.
That's hilarious.
But no, I would love to do a photo book one day, but that's a lot of money that goes into that.
Yeah.
So if I could get like some kind of grant or some kind of like publishing company to be interested in my work, that would be amazing. But probably 10 years from now, when I really have like
a lot of
like
photos.
A lot of photos. Yeah. Right now, I feel like there are a handful, but not enough for a book.
Yeah.
but I would love to one day.
Nice.
Maybe.
That's a rad question, Allie. Hopefully you'd buy that book. I would buy that book.
Yeah. Why do some people feel the need to say things online when they just shouldn't?
What are your goals in photography?
My goals in photography.
Better known as DK asked this question. Thanks for asking a great question.
Yes, that's a great question. My goals to travel the world with a brand or like a skate team, like a lot of the things that like the guy photographers do now, where they're traveling the world or they're going on 2 or 3 week trips.
Yeah.
And just shooting and making money that way.
Yeah.
Definitely traveling is like my ultimate goal. And then to just be like a staff photographer for Thrasher, because they're really like kind of the solo mag, like the most relevant. I feel. I mean, there's Transworld still too, and like the skateboard mag, but everybody knows Thrasher, so I'd love to work with them. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah. Awesome. And more maybe shows too. Like,
yeah, I love doing shows. I have a show coming up in April actually.
Nice. Here in LA?
It's at a gallery called Junior High. So it's like a all-female, like feminist space.
Nice.
So I'm doing my London series there.
Oh, nice. Okay, so that's what you're doing. Because you haven't really published a lot of those or posted a lot of those.
No, I'm holding on to all of those
until the show. And then afterwards, will you post them up
online? Yeah, I'll start kind of like trickling it out there. Awesome. But yeah, I want to like really keep it to myself. The girls that I shot, like I send them photos, but they know that they can't post them.
Yeah. Nice. What's the date?
April 6th.
All right, April 6th, guys. Yeah. For those of you in LA. Okay, so we got some questions from Julie from Belgium, and then Kelsey's got a few more questions. Julie, I really like this question. She asked, she's like, I was wondering how much space you think there is for new photographers in the women's skateboarding community.
I feel like there's a lot of space right now. It's just kind of like we're all open to whoever is interested in what they can contribute. So it's really just about just perfecting your skill and building your portfolio and like getting experience and reaching out. And but there's always room, there's so few of us right now. So it's
I agree.
There's a lot of space though. It's growing so quick.
Yeah. So. I agree. To answer your question, Julie, as well. I think honestly, the more of us, the better, because it's a community, it's an ecosystem. And honestly, like you're just one person. I'm one person. Like you're in one city. I'm in one city. Like there's so many people out there and there's so much potential to collaborate and to create like more smaller skate communities around the world of exactly what we have kind of out in California, which is honestly just groups of friends taking it into their own hands. And if you don't have a group of friends, you just create a group of friends, right? Like create an Instagram account and be like, hey, I'm interested in like improving my skate photography skills. Like any skaters out there, and just kind of, again, like it goes back
just
to
reaching out and going back to being vulnerable. Just really put yourself out there, because the worst someone can say is no.
Yeah. And again, it's just like, how would you want someone to approach you? Like, if they're like stoked and they're like, they follow up, like that just shows like, okay, cool. Like if I call this person, they're going to call me back, or if I email them, they're going to email me back. And I would definitely encourage Julie and anyone else to like really create that in wherever you are. Cause like you're asking, her other question was, what are some good places to get started in the business, in our opinion? So I think what you're asking is like, do you have to move to LA or California to make it happen? And like my answer would be like, no, because I want to see this happen in other places in the world, Like,
it's just about, I mean, the skate scene it's like here, but there are skate communities. You have to start, just go to the skate park, hang out with people, take pictures of them, practice with them, be like, okay, well, these aren't going to be used for anything, but it's literally just practice. Like I still do that. Like Jen and I have shoots where I'm like, this is not going to go anywhere, but I just want to just practice. So just studying tricks, like understanding what the tricks look like. You can't show up at a spot with a skater who is confident in like what they're gonna do and be like, okay, well, what is this trick supposed to look like? Like I still ask it, but it like I'm quick about it. Be like, okay, all right, so 2 seconds after, or just wait a little bit longer. Okay, got it. And then I keep doing it. So just understanding what the tricks look like, understanding skate park etiquette, like being aware of your surroundings, being like, okay, well, I'm shooting this skater, but there are, 10 other girls that are trying to practice for the contest right now. So
Yeah.
how can I get the shot, but also not be in anyone's way?
Yeah.
So just spatial awareness and yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Just
And I think I like what you said about like you just studied magazines. Like
I did.
honestly,
Yeah.
that's something that's really important. That with Instagram, it's a little bit more of a free for all, but there is sort of like a tradition and a culture and etiquette when it comes to filming and skate and photography as well. And it's not so much like there's you have to do it this way, black and white, but there's definitely certain aspects of capturing the moment and really showcasing like what that person is doing on their board that's important when it like when we talk about etiquette and like guidelines, because I think the common misconception, or even for me, like when I was learning, is that like, oh, I think this looks cool, but like I'm not the one doing the trick.
Yeah.
So obviously
They all
that,
know like what their body is supposed to look like, right?
Yeah.
So they're like, oh no, my arm needs to be a little bit more relaxed, or my face
Yeah.
needs to be a little bit more relaxed, or like
Yeah.
my, my leg looks weird in that. So
Yeah.
they're ultimately the ones that are going to tell me what photo they like. I'm not going to post a photo that they don't approve of.
Yep.
Because it's their image as well.
Yep,
So it's
exactly.
like
You're telling their
Yeah.
story. So part of it is having that two-way like relationship where you're like, do you like this photo? And like, what do you think? Maybe, it would look better if it was like
Jen
1 second
sits up here
after
with me too. So
editing.
like
Yeah.
we'll go through them together, and she'll be like, no, I like this one, this one, this one. I don't like that one because my arm looks weird.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then just really like the more you shoot with a skater, the more you understand their style.
Yeah.
So you can get that moment quicker.
Yeah.
You know.
And I would also say, like, when you're learning, like, don't be afraid to make mistakes, because it might sound super like intimidating. They're like, well, I don't know when to show, this trick and that. But I would say just be open to like developing yourself, because it's the same as skating. Like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna do everything first try perfectly, like, but you definitely got to keep trying and ask people for feedback, like get constructive feedback, like ask people who are experienced or potentially like have a like a deeper history with it. Be like, what do you think of this photo?
Yeah.
And I would say that it just makes a difference, like being open and not worrying so much. It's like not personal. It's not like, oh, you're not good enough. It's just that like we all went through that.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like getting feedback and then using that.
Not being afraid to also take criticism too.
Yeah.
Be like, a photo that I really like, might not necessarily, they might not like it.
Yeah.
So it's like just being okay with that. It's the same if you were in art school too.
Yeah. And then again, it's like the body of your work, not just like one photo.
Yeah.
So
I want to get through more questions.
Yeah.
Is it okay that we're going over time?
Yeah. Sure. Why not? It's our show. We do what we want. If you guys are down to hang out. All right, let's get this going here.
Oh, yeah. Kelsey's saying there's a lot of trolls on here, which is fine. I don't care. We're not paying attention to them. That's fine.
Do you ever plan to have a show back here in SC? Where's SC?
South Carolina.
South Carolina. That's from
who?
Better known as DK.
DK. We went to high school together. What's up, dude?
Nice.
I don't know. Probably not. I mean, unless I have a photo series out there of like girl skaters in South Carolina, which I don't know any.
Yeah.
I don't know any. So, but if they reach out to me and I get to go home and see family, then I could shoot with them. But there's like very, very few skate parks in South Carolina. Like when I lived there, it would take an hour to get to a skate park. So we never go. So,
yeah.
But, I also had a mini ramp in my backyard for a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's like I would just skate at home.
Yeah.
But there were no street spots. It's just like.
Yeah. But that'll start to change over time for sure. Like we're gonna see it happening, right? It's like the culture of skateboarding is now growing into places that you wouldn't expect. So maybe someday.
Yeah.
Favorite photographer?
Oh,
skateboard photographer or otherwise?
Favorite photographer besides skateboard photography is probably Sally Mann and Annie Leibovitz. They're my favorite. Two very, very strong women with like really bold photography. Both of them have like either there's been controversy over their images or they've gotten like death threats or like whatever, but they're like, yeah, fuck you, I'm still gonna do it, So they're definitely my two favorite. And then my favorite skateboard photographer, say probably Atiba. He does everything. Yeah, he's a really nice guy too.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know him personally, but he just seems like a positive.
I see him out sometimes, and I always say hi. So he gave me a hug last time, which
Nice.
like made me feel good. I was like, hey man,
That's
and he
cool.
hugged me. So
Yeah. And that just again boils down to like just being a good person,
Mhm.
like regardless of who you meet, you know, like you just never know. So
yeah, I like
okay.
these questions. Let's keep.
Yeah,
keep
if
them
you guys got
going.
more questions, we got a few more questions that were pre-submitted. So Julie was asking tips to get started. I think we kind of addressed on that,
Yeah,
but
just skate park. Go to the skate park. Reach out to people. I met all of the girls that I photographed in London. I probably hung out with like 15 different girls.
mhm,
I met them all through Instagram.
yeah,
You know, I didn't know anybody before I went out there.
yep,
So really utilize social media to
yeah,
meet people because we are such like a tight knit community. There were so many girls that I saw on Instagram that I either follow
Yesterday?
me
Yeah.
or like just this mutual whatever, and then we met at exposure and it's like we knew each other. Like little
IRL,
skate,
in
you know,
real
skate
life.
Kate, but little Kate.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like stuck with me like the whole weekend,
Nice.
just like at my hip, like hi,
Nice.
hey, like just joking around with
I
me.
think
So.
that's honestly what's made a difference for like our community and our just what's happening right now is the internet. Like we didn't have a lot of these tools like even 5 years ago.
Nah.
And so now like to be able to utilize them is awesome. And if you don't get a response, you don't get a response. It's all good. But
Yeah,
like
it's
you
never
won't
like
know until you
personal
try.
either.
Yeah.
Like I know people have messaged me too, and either like I just get busy or life is happening
Yeah.
and whatever, but it's not like a I don't care.
Yeah. And then also
I care a
doesn't-
lot.
Yeah. And
so.
also doesn't mean don't try again. Like
Yeah.
keep trying and just you never know. Like you might, you know, send an email and not get a response and then a year later you get a response.
Mhm.
Like I don't know, that's happened to me before. So I
Yeah.
would say, you know, just keep going for it. And
Yeah,
if
don't ever
things-
stop. If you love shooting photos, even if it's not skating, even if you're like you see my work or you know whatever, you want to be a photographer, you want to shoot photos of food.
Yeah.
Just keep doing it. Just do
Yeah.
what you love.
Yep.
Just fuel that fire and just take it out of your mind. Like, what are these photos going to be used for, or am I ever going to get paid or whatever? Just like I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I'm just doing it because I love it.
To
And
do
if
it.
something happens, that's great. If not, then you know get a job doing something else
Yeah.
for until it happens.
Side
you know?
hustles.
As long as you just keep going, you're not gonna ever get anything overnight.
Yeah.
So
And just keep doing it for yourself because it's like if it's
Yeah.
fun for you, you're gonna just like doing it no matter if it turns into a job or not.
Yeah.
And that's honestly what will end up having people attracted to you to like want to work with you or collab with you. It's like, oh,
Mhm.
that's so cool. Like
Damn.
so okay, so we got a few more questions from Kelsey. Let's see.
How many questions did she ask?
Well, we covered some of the stuff that she asked. She asked about preferring to shoot in film versus digital. Where's your favorite place you've shot photos?
Hmm.
I think I know what you're gonna say.
What?
I don't know. I'm not gonna say
Um.
it. You say it.
Probably, honestly, London.
I knew it. I knew because you were just
Like,
there. It sounds
yeah.
like an epic trip. Like, tell me about how that happened. You were just like, I really want to go. Like, why London of all places?
I have family roots there too. So like
Nice.
my great grandmother was born in Liverpool.
Uh-huh.
So just kind of growing up with my grandfather, always talking about like my English roots, and I still have family there and everything like that. So, and I was also kind of going crazy at my old job, so I was like, I have to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And I found a really cheap round trip flight, and I went. And so I knew that I had probably like a month before I left. So I just started reaching out to girls on Instagram that follow me already. And so I would see their names pop up and like just look at their stuff and be like, wow, they're really good skaters, or wow, they're really interesting. And then just message them and be like, hey, I'm going to be here. I have no idea where I'm staying, but do you want to hang out? Like, can you help me? Can you help me find a place? And they all of them were like, we can't wait to meet you. We've like seen your work already. Like, you can stay with me. Like, my family will host you. You can sleep on my couch. You can sleep in my bed. Like, my friend Viv was like, no, I'm not allowing you to sleep on my couch. You're going to sleep in my bed, kind of thing. And my friend Eloise, who's an amazing artist.
I love her art.
Yeah, she was everywhere at Exposure. She had like.
She was at Exposure?
She wasn't at Exposure, but her work was at Exposure. Like, the meow graphic on the board.
The shirts,
Yeah. And so I was sending her pictures. I was like, Eloise, you're everywhere.
Yeah, her art's amazing.
But she let me stay with her for 2 weeks.
Awesome.
2 weeks. So she would either go and stay with her boyfriend, give me the key. I'd go and skate with other girls and like, find my way back to her place, the London Bridge, and like stay in her apartment. And she trusted me. And like, then she'd come back and we'd like hang out in her bed and talk until late at night, or walk to the grocery store, or like, get croissants and coffee every morning. And she actually was like my tour guide. She introduced
So
me
cool.
to so many other girls that like I had like a list, like a rough list before I went there, but she was just like, no, I know these girls and this, and we're gonna go here, and like yeah. So I owe a lot to Eloise, and she's coming here in March actually. So she's gonna stay with me for 2 weeks. And I'm like, well, obviously you're gonna sleep on my bed with me. So it's like,
Eloise, I want to meet you. I don't live in LA, but we're gonna meet.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then you ended up like linking up with like Amy and Helena and
Amy Ram, Helena Long, Georgie Winter. Oh my God, there's so many girls. Little Lola. Lola is 9 years old, 9 or 10, and she shaved her head and like raised $3,000 for kids with cancer, and like lives 4 hours away. And her parents like drove her to London, got a hotel room, and like just to shoot with me, and I got to meet her, and like she's amazing. So it's just so many like people just like touched me like in my soul when I was there, and I like left feeling like I had a different family, you know.
So cool.
So like when I saw Helena and Amy last night, I was just like, oh my God, like there's I just want to be around them all the time. Nice. I just love London so much. And
they're also really good at karaoke, so
they're killing it last night.
Okay, cool, nice, that's awesome. So the answer is London.
Obviously. So all the photos that I shot there are gonna be in that show.
That's awesome. That'd be cool to maybe make a little zine out of it or something.
It's in the works. Okay, cool. Yeah, Charlie and I are gonna be working on the zine. My friend Charlotte Teagan might be helping.
Yeah.
She and I have a side project called Housewife Skateboards. So definitely look them up because we're starting something.
Awesome.
You know,
I love it.
Kind of like removing like femininity from things and just being like, no, this is just skating.
Yeah.
Like, what would we want to wear? What kind of boards would we want to skate? Kind of thing. So yeah, we're gonna be working on a zine. Lisa from Meow is gonna do a collaboration with me. So we're either gonna do like one of my images on a shirt, or we're gonna try to do. Eloise is gonna do illustrations of my photographs of the girls from London.
Awesome.
So there's either going to be some kind of like board collaboration or like her graphic of my photo on a shirt or something, but her work is going to be in the show as well.
Cool. Rad.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then shout out to Hannah Bailey, because didn't Hannah like connect you to some of the girls?
Hannah also did. Yeah, she gave me a list of people to reach out to.
Awesome.
So yeah, because she knows everybody.
Hannah's the homie.
Yeah.
You're gonna be on the show soon, Hannah. I just need to figure out how to make the technology work, or just gonna California.
Are you gonna do like a Skype thing?
Maybe, yeah. We'll see. That's cool. I want it to be like
Hannah's
quality.
awesome.
Yeah,
I love her photos as well. She did a lot of like behind the scenes stuff at Street League. She shot the photo of the photo for my ad for Real Talk. That's her photo.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, I said in the email, I was like, Hannah Bailey shot this.
I knew the other
Hannah Bailey shot this.
All right, sorry, Hannah. We dropped their ball in crediting you. I knew the other ones that Namchi shot, but I was wondering which one that was. It didn't.
Yeah, Hannah and Namchi shot photos of me. Thank you, because I never have photos of me.
Yeah, I got it. Photographers shooting photographers.
Yeah.
All right, one more question from Kelsey. She asked, do you feel the worlds of action photography and fine art photography can be merged, and do you care to pursue photography in a fine art way?
Yeah, I kind of feel like that's the approach that I take always. You know, like I try to see some kind of artistic thing that I could add to the shot, so it's not just like action shot, you know. So it's like either, okay, wow, I noticed that this wall is the same color as the rail, you know, how can I try to get that? Or you know, just playing with colors. I've really like kind of developed a love for color and just like, you know, color manipulation. I really like don't do much editing to my photos. So yeah, there's definitely a fine art lens to everything that I do.
Awesome.
But just kind of.
So you're more looking at like capturing it exactly in the moment how it is, as opposed to like doing any post-production?
Yeah, all the shots that I shot with my Hasselblad in London of the girls, the film turned out exactly the way that I remember it, like the colors, everything. So it's just,
awesome.
Definitely try to be artsy with it as well, because it just adds something like special.
Yeah,
you know?
Totally.
Just something. How can I make a skate photo appealing to everyone? So not even like someone that's into skating. Like I've had a lot of people come up to me like, I don't know anything about skating, but there's something the way that you shot this that just really, you know, grabbed my attention. It's different. It's not just like speaking to one audience.
Yeah. Awesome. So cool. Sweet.
Yeah. Thanks for asking so many questions.
Kelsey had some great questions.
She did. She does have good questions. Yeah. She's texting me. I can't look at my phone, but
okay. So my last question is, what's coming up for you this year? What's next?
right now, just getting the show together. It's like I have Ash who works for ETN. She loves skating. She's not like she's learning how to skate, but she's like just really wants to be involved.
Awesome.
So she's gonna be helping me with like writing grants and figuring out how we can get some money in to pay for printing and framing and the zines, like what publications I can hit up and see if they're interested in helping. Like not just I want to do it right. So I want to get this show the way that I really envision it.
Yeah.
So that is like what I'm really working on right now. And then Jen and I have some side projects going on. We're going to be doing some things with GoPro. We're just doing things with Skull Candy because she's on Skull Candy now. So just like trying to get content that they would be interested in.
Yep.
Trying to get some trips planned either through Skull Candy or whatever.
Nice.
Yeah, I really just this London show is everything right now. So just
awesome.
Really getting sponsors and trying to get this off the ground. And I want it to be a big turnout. Like the gallery owner wants me to like build some ramps. So I want to have like Charlie paint some graphics on the ramps, like just get it big. I want it to be big.
Nice.
So
awesome.
Yeah.
I love the hustle. You're always like, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. And like, I don't know, I just appreciate that a lot because it's so easy to be like, I just want to chill.
I still have days like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, we all have to have that balance, but I just love the drive and the passion and the motivation. And that was like what I noticed when I first met you. I'm like, this girl is down to hustle, but it's like fun and like there's intention behind it. You're not just like running yourself like to
if I didn't love it, I wouldn't do it. I've quit almost everything in my life except for skateboarding.
I think you told me that one time.
I really have quit everything. Yeah. So
what are some things you've quit?
Taekwondo, soccer. I played soccer in high school. I quit that. I used to fake sick so I wouldn't play in the games because I'd be too nervous. That's like funny. Taekwondo, I like just
any musical instruments?
Stopped caring. Guitar, drums. I used to play drums.
And you quit?
My dad was a drummer. I quit because I didn't care. My mom even hired like a drum teacher. Nah.
You're like, no.
Skateboarding is the only thing that I never quit. And then photography, obviously, like I never once thought I was gonna ever.
I have one more question for you that just came up. Okay. So you remember when you were talking about London. How do you decide when you want to skate or take photos? Because like, do you just do both?
It's hard
like,
because my camera bag was so heavy.
Yeah,
I had my Hasselblad, my digital. I somehow fit everything in there. So it was like, it feels so good just to have a fanny pack on and just to skate down the street with your board. But
do you just decide, okay, like tomorrow's session, I'm just gonna skate?
No, I had my camera bag on me all the time.
Just skated with your bag?
Because I knew that I was gonna. There was gonna be moments that I was gonna regret. My back is so messed up. It's so messed up.
So you just had your camera, and so if there's
I always have my camera,
then you captured, and other times you'd skate if you.
I would have all my gear on me, but we would roll up to a spot or roll up to a skate park and be like, okay, I'm gonna skate with everybody for like an hour.
Yeah.
And because I'm like, all right, we're gonna shoot now. It's just like when the moment when it's ready.
Yeah.
Like when I feel like I'm like, okay, let's get this.
Yeah.
Or like or if I get it like a inspiration of something.
Yeah.
Like someone makes a face or someone says something. I'm like, okay, I have to shoot this.
Yeah.
Nice. So, but I always
you
have to have your camera on you.
You never stressed about it getting stolen or like leaving it at the skate park and like skating.
No, because I always have it like right. I know where it is at all times.
Yeah. So you would not like skate away and be worried about it.
No.
You would just have like.
I'm so paranoid.
I know. I would be too. Well, that's the thing. Like especially in like foreign countries.
Street smarts.
Like,
growing up in Baltimore, you have to know.
Right. Yeah. All right, that's right. No, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's the same in exposure. Like I left my skateboard in the car a lot yesterday, and I really wanted to. It was a lot more convenient to skate from my car that was parked forever away.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, my camera bag's too heavy. I'd rather have my camera to get that moment than be able to, board slide on the curb for a second.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Yeah. But I had to get used to like skating in London long distances with everything. So towards the end of the trip, I was just like, it was just part of my body at that point.
Nice.
So yeah.
Gotta train, CrossFit.
Yeah.
Get that training in.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's see if there's any other questions.
The viewers are dropping. They're like over it.
Dream person to shoot.
Oh yeah. My dream person to shoot. Who? There's so many actresses that I want to photograph. I don't know. I'd love to shoot a portrait of Sally Mann one day. That'd be great. The photographers shooting photographers. I'd love to shoot a photo of Tony Hawk. I know that's pretty cliche. That might happen. there's some things in the works.
Hey, you never know. Anything's possible.
Yeah, there's some different projects that I can't really talk about right now.
Okay,
that
cool. On
are
the
in the
DL.
works. Yeah.
Nice.
But I will say that Tom Mull and I are collaborating on a man ramp project.
Nice.
So trying to get some lady shredders to skate man ramp.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, so that's something that we're rolling out right now.
I remember that one shot from Element Camp where Kristen was ollieing over that rail.
That was pre-man ramp.
Yeah,
that was just Alex in a Speedo.
Yeah, which that was like what that was him before he had man ramp.
Yeah,
so that was awesome.
We're gonna be doing that. Just trying to. He's actually filming for King of the Road right now.
Nice. Cool.
So when he gets back, we're gonna start that.
Sweet. Well, do you have anything else that you want to put out into the world?
Jen and I, we have these conversations probably every day where we're like, I just can't believe where we are, like, I'm just so thankful. Like, we have no expectations for anything. If I told my younger self that I would be here, I wouldn't believe it, because it's like skateboarding is my life. Yeah. So to be able to be, such close friends with these amazing women, I just feel really honored. And I don't take anything for granted, and just being in the moment as much as I can.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
Yeah, living it while I can.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm just
#blessed.
Yeah.
No, that's so cool. On my side, like, it just the fact that you guys exist. Mm-hmm. Like, when you emailed me, I was like, oh my God, she skates and she takes photos, like, and she's hitting me up. Like, that to me is the same. I can't, and I think the same goes for like Lisa and Mimi and Yulene and everyone. It's like just the fact that you guys exist and seeing the next generation like really come into your own, and like the fact that there are opportunities for you guys to like be the fullest best you is also on our side. Like, oh my God, I can't believe we're doing it together. Yeah, I know, exactly. It's exciting for us to know that, like, all the trials and tribulations and the blood, sweat, and tears is actually like for like
for the people, for the little girls also, dropping into the bowl when they're like 5 years old.
And the fact that it's just growing exponentially, and that's like so fulfilling, and like just I'm grateful.
Almost
for that.
Like after every X Games, Mimi and I have these like heart-to-heart conversations where we're just like, I just appreciate you so much. Like I really love you. That's or like awesome. I feel like you're my family, and like just kind of reflecting on, again, just like being part of a revolution. Yeah, like it really is like a revolution.
Yeah, I agree.
Like
it's honestly just seeing what the work that we've done be able to be like passed on and then exponentially grow into the world, so that even the generation under you guys, there's going to be tons of female photographers, pro skaters, like contests, events, like films. Like that's the future that I want to live into.
Yeah.
And so it's really cool just to like be a part of whatever like we can do to like help open the doors. Like that's what it's all about. So
it's all for the little ones, really.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
thank you for all the questions. And if I didn't get to anything, like just DM me and like ask me. And if I don't get back to you right away, then I will. I'm not ignoring you.
And we'll just probably have to do season 2, and we'll have you back. A bunch of stuff is going to happen from now until I'm sure the next time. So,
and again, I'm just like, I'm thankful for everybody who follows me on Instagram, like who take the time to either come up to me at events and tell me that they appreciate my work, or I inspire their young daughter, or like they drive 4 hours to come see me, or whatever. So it's like all of those things don't go unnoticed, and like it just really is shaping me, and I just want to just be a better version of myself always.
Awesome.
So I'm just thankful for everybody who cares about my work.
Awesome.
I wouldn't be here without everyone else.
And something that like I just want to put out into the world is like there is no difference between like us and like the people who are following us, because like we were there at some point, and
Jen and I were saying that today.
It's like, at some point I followed, and there was an Instagram, but there was people that I looked up to, and like we're all the same. So I think ultimately, to shout out you guys for even watching, like it's a community, and we're all just contributing in the way we can. And I would love to see more projects and more zines, photos, shows, films, skaters, like whatever it is. Like YouTube,
if you have an idea, if you want to come shoot, if you're in the LA area and you want to just like either come observe like what I do or whatever, just hit me up. I'm around.
Hit up Zorah on the DMs.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you have an awesome rest of your night, and thanks again for watching.
Thank
And
you.
feel free to like share the link out. And we're actually going to do episode 4 on Tuesday morning, so I'm excited about a morning
Who's
episode.
on episode
It's
4?
going to be Yulene.
Yes.
So yeah, Yulene is an athlete agent, and she's also the VP of Business Development for the Women's Skateboarding Alliance. So we're going to be talking lots of fun stuff.
That's gonna be a good episode too.
Yeah. So yeah, but we're excited to keep this going. If you guys have ideas or questions, just shoot an email to info@mafiatv. And have a great night.
Yeah,
We'll see you
thank
guys
you.
soon.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.